And good afternoon. How's everybody doing? Hope you are ready for the conclusion of Act 2 of episode Heresy in Destiny 2. Hope you're enjoying Guardian games thus far. Hope you're enjoying the story thus far. For those new here, this is the weekly update series where I cover all the updates of the week from the core playlists and the rotators, as well as covering all seasonal challenges and the Bright Dust offerings available in the Eververse store and Bright Dust offerings only. So if you would like to like the video and subscribe to the channel, please do so it helps me and I can keep making more of these each week. With that said, I'll be live over on Twitch this evening playing through the entirety of Act 2 on my main character, and then possibly switching off to my secondary character where I'll be playing through all of Act 1 and Act 2 up to this point. Also, this is the conclusion of the Guardian game, so make sure you get whatever medals turned in, get whatever rolls on weapons you want. So the links to those will be in the description below if you want to check out what you need to get your hands on. But enough of that, let's go ahead and dive into the update, shall we? First off with our core playlist. Over in the Vanguard for our Grandmaster of the Week, it is the 𝕖𝕒𝕒𝕚𝕝 Battleground on the Moon. We're pretty much, Scarlet Keep backwards. The weapon this week is the Slammer, and I'll have a link to the various roles you can get in the description below as well. Alright, over in Gambit, we currently have double reputation, so if you want to go ahead and knock out Gambit to get whatever you need from there, the weapon, the shape, the ornament for the weapon, or whatever you need for like seals like Deadeye or the Gambit seal. And then in Crucible, like I said, it's still the final week of Guardian games, so Supremacy is still an option, but there's also Momentum Control and Survival this week. Alright, over in the Legends tab, both our raids are available, so we have Vault of Glass, if you're trying to get any of the weapons crafted from Vault, good week to farm it out, as well as farm for the Vex Mythoclast Exotic Fusion Rifle, and then same for Crota's End with any of those craftable weapons, as well as the Necrochasm quest line to get that completed. Alright, and then while we're here, is also the Node Avalon Exotic Mission for the Excalibur. Whether you need to get that completed the first time or get any of the remaining catalysts for it, feel free to farm it out this week as well. Alright, over in the Eternity/Cosmodrome is the Eververse dungeon, which is a very good farm if you're trying to get any Artifice armor for any of your characters. Just make sure you snag the boss encounter checkpoint, and you can get that encounter done sub 5 minutes easy. And then our second dungeon is over in the EDZ, being the Warlord's Ruin for the Buried Bloodline. Alright, over in the Pale Heart this week, our weekly mission is the Ascent, and don't forget you need at least one partner with you, so you can shoot the front and back of a certain enemy, as well as shoot 2 nodes in certain areas at the same time to be able to progress forward. And then the current daily overthrow is up in the Impasse. Okay. Over in the Dreaming City, the current Ascendant Challenge is over here in Alphilian's Rest with Ouroboros. So if you want to get that bounty done before the weekly reset so you can get a good boost on your leveling next week, go ahead and get that out of the way. And then our weekly Lost Sector rotation begins over here in the Pale Heart, once again, with the Broken Deep. And then on tomorrow, on Wednesday, it will be the Blooming Deep. On Thursday, it'll be Bunker E15. On Friday, Perdition. On Saturday, Veil's Labyrinth. On Sunday, Cosmic Exodus Garden 2A. And then lastly, on Monday, we'll be returning to Alphine's Rest. Alright. And then lastly, over on Neptune, our weekly Terminal Overload is over in Zephyr Concourse, and our current daily effects incursion zones down in Limbing Harbor. Alright, that is it for our rotators. Next up, let's go ahead and dive into our weekly mission as well as our seasonal challenges for the week, shall we? So first off, with the Act 2 Rights of the Deep, you'll start off with a mission node in the map directory where you go deal with Hersey. And then for our weekly challenges, for week 8, we have Rights of the Deep Part 3, complete Act 2 Part 3 of Rights of the Deep, Heretical Arsenal, defeat Command Submachine Gun Final Blows, earn bonus progress in episode Heresy activities or defeating Guardians, Heresy chests. Open chests in episode Heresy activities. Additional progress for opening chests after successfully completing encounters in the Nether and defeating more challengers during Court of Blades. Ooh, excuse me. Expert Court of Blades. Defeat at least 5 challengers in the Court of Blades in a single run on expert difficulty. Heavy Slayer. Defeat combatants with heavy weapons in Court of Blades. Bonus progress for spending stolen runes on the following purchases during activity: Ritual of the Deep and Ascendant Slayer. And as you can tell, this is a retroactive progression. We then have Rapid Court of Blades. Rapidly defeat combatants in the Court of Blades activity. Commendation. Earn progress for giving commendations in Vanguard, Crucible, and Gambit activities. Taking all challenges. Complete weekly playlist challenges including Vanguard Ops, Crucible, Gambit, or seasonal activities. High Value Hunter. Defeat powerful combatants in Gambit. Earn bonus progress for defeating high value targets. And then Meta Master. Defeat combatants with fusion rifles, glaives, machine guns, trace rifles, rocket launchers, and linear fusion rifles. Earn bonus progress for defeating Guardians in Crucible. But sadly, I believe not Gambit. Alright, that is it for our quest line for today, as well as the weekly seasonal challenges. Lastly, let's go ahead and check out the Eververse store. Once again, I only cover offerings available with Bright Dust and nothing with Silver. So let's go ahead and check that out, shall we? Alright, starting off with the Just Jiggling emote. Or you just kicking around a engram. Alright, we then have the Petrified emote. The Elemental Contestant and Transmat effect. Fighting Color shader. And lastly, the Coral Bloom shader. Alright, next up on the Brightness page, we start off with the Applause and Accolades multiplayer emote. We then have the Touchdown Dance emote. Alright. We then have the Winged Victory ship. The Hawker Ghost Shell. For all our guardians who like hot dogs. The runner-up Sparrow. The class of its own weapon armament for the Vex Mythoclast. And the trophy projection for your ghost. Alright, next up we have the Verdant Chrome shader. The Verdant Crown shader. The Rivalry White Sand shader. I believe this is first third week in a row offered. And the Reef Mate shader. We then have the Cherry Blossom Transmat effect. The Cyber Class Entrance Transmat effect. And lastly, the Stalwart Sigil Transmat effect. Alright, that is it for week 8 of episode Hersey and the final week of Guardian Games. Hope you have a wonderful week. Hope you enjoy the conclusion to Act 2. And I will see you in the next video for Act 3 begins next week. Have a wonderful week, everybody. Goodbye. See you later.